It's the end of the month. Once again, you're looking at your bank account, wondering how on earth you'll stretch those last few dollars until payday. Bills, rent, groceries, every dollar is spoken for. And when it comes to building wealth, well, let's face it, it feels like an impossible dream, right? But what if I told you there's a way to escape this cycle? Here's the truth. You don't need a high salary or a big inheritance to start building wealth. What you need is a few powerful strategies and a commitment to making your money work harder than you do. Today, I'll guide you through 5 essential steps to begin building wealth on a low income, no matter where you're starting. Point 1. Change your money mindset. Let's begin with something absolutely crucial, your mindset. It might sound like self-help talk, but let me explain why it's anything but. Many of us have grown up with the idea that wealth is reserved for people with high salaries or lucky breaks. But here's the thing. Your mindset is often the biggest factor that limits you. The wealthy view each dollar as a tiny employee, working toward their goals. Meanwhile, many of us let our dollars slip away unnoticed. Imagine if, instead, each dollar worked towards something bigger: financial freedom, stability, and growth. Consider this. Are you viewing money as something to survive on, or something that can work for you? This shift doesn't mean that suddenly everything's easy, but when you start respecting each dollar, you begin taking control. Wealth building starts in the mind, not in the bank. All right, hang on, I can see you rolling your eyes. But trust me, if you're thinking, why bother when I'm barely making it through each month? Then you're exactly who this message is for. Just stay with me a bit longer. Let's talk practical changes. Point 2, mastering the art of budgeting. Step 2, creating a budget that actually works. Now, don't sigh just yet. I know budgeting sounds boring, but here's the twist. It's the only way to see where every dollar's going and to reclaim control over your finances. The type of budget that can change your life on a low income is called a zero-based budget. This means assigning a job to every single dollar, whether it's going to food, rent, or savings. The goal is for every dollar to be accounted for, with no loose ends. A zero-based budget forces you to look at your spending honestly, but it also shows you where you have room to breathe. Even if your income is tight, a zero-based budget can reveal hidden spending patterns and opportunities to save. Track every single expense for 30 days. Yes, everything. Coffee? Track it. Groceries? Track it. Netflix? Track it. Once you see exactly where your money's going, you'll start to notice little ways to keep more of it. Think you don't have any extra money to spare? I challenge you. Track your expenses for a month, then come back and tell me that. Point 3. Debt-free living and the power of small wins. Step 3. Free yourself from the chains of debt. Now, debt is one of the greatest barriers to wealth, especially if you're on a low income. Debt keeps you in the past, paying for things you've already consumed instead of looking forward to what you can build. Here's a method to break free: the debt snowball. Start with your smallest debt, no matter the interest rate, and throw any extra cash at it. When that's paid off, move on to the next smallest. Why this method? It's psychological. Each small win builds momentum, confidence, and motivation to tackle the next one. It's not about math, it's about mindset. Imagine this. Each time you eliminate a debt, you're freeing up a chunk of income. Over time, the money you'd put toward debt can be redirected into savings, investments, and building wealth. Getting out of debt isn't about instant gratification, it's about creating a future where you're in control, not your creditors. Now, you might be wondering, how do I handle emergencies without relying on credit? Stay tuned, because that's exactly where we're headed next. Point 4. Building an emergency fund. Let's talk about the emergency fund. This is your safety net, the thing that keeps you grounded when life throws the unexpected your way. Without one, even a small financial hiccup can send you spiraling back into debt. Start with a simple goal: $500. This might seem small, but for many, it's enough to cover minor car repairs or medical expenses. Eventually, aim for $1,000, then build it up to cover 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses. Yes, it's a long-term goal, but every dollar counts, and it'll save you from needing credit to cover those unexpected expenses. Think of the peace of mind that comes with knowing you have a backup plan. You're no longer walking on financial thin ice, and every time you add to your emergency fund, you're building a layer of security between you and life's inevitable ups and downs. Besides, isn't it nice to know that you won't be completely doomed if your car decides it's on strike? Point 5. Micro investing in compound interest. All right, now we're getting into the exciting part: Investing. I know what you're thinking though, but I barely have enough to save, let alone invest. Here's the good news. Micro investing is here to change the game. With apps today, you can start investing with just a few dollars. No, really, $5, $10, even $1 at a time. Think of it like planting seeds. At first, it may not seem like much, but with the power of compound interest, those small investments grow exponentially over time. Imagine this. Each dollar invested can grow, even on autopilot. You don't have to be a stock market expert. You just have to start. The longer you invest, the more you can let compound interest do its magic. And here's the amazing part. This is how you transition from living paycheck to paycheck to having a stake in your own future. Final point, finding extra income streams. Finally, let's talk about adding to your income. Building wealth on a low income can be difficult if that income is fixed. But here's where side gigs, freelancing, or selling items you no longer need can make all the difference. Whether it's freelancing, starting a small online store, or driving for a rideshare company on weekends, side income can give you an edge. Imagine every extra dollar from these side gigs as one more resource to pay off debt, save, or invest. You don't need a side hustle that makes thousands each month. Even an extra $100 can speed up your financial progress. When you think of it as a tool for independence, every bit helps to build a future where you're financially free. So, there you have it. 5 powerful ways to start building wealth on any income level. Change your mindset, get control of your budget, free yourself from debt, establish an emergency fund, start micro-investing, and find those extra income streams. Every step moves you closer to financial security. This journey won't be overnight. It'll take time, consistency, and discipline. But with these strategies, you're not just surviving, you're starting to thrive. Remember, building wealth doesn't require a high income. It requires a high commitment. You found this video valuable? Don't forget to like it, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more tips on financial success. And if you're ready for even more knowledge, check out my next video on the top 10 financial books to read in your 20s and 30s. Together, let's keep walking this path to financial freedom.